Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is my 2019 Australian Grand Prix review. So, for the first time since Abu Dhabi 2018, F1 was back. Although it wasn't the best race, the Australian Grand Prix certainly left us with a lot to think about. In this video, I will look at some of the key stories from the race, I will talk about the drivers and teams that were impressive or were disappointing, as well as give my race rating out of 10. So yeah guys, let's get into it. Here's my 2019 Australian Grand Prix review. And remember, if you enjoy my videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave your predictions in the comment section below. Let me start by discussing an amazing performance by Valtteri Bottas. It was a dominant race from start to finish. He had an amazing lap in the second to last run of qualifying and looked set for pole, only to be pipped by Lewis Hamilton by a tenth of a second. However, this didn't affect him, and he drove the perfect race from start to finish. From the lightning start to opening a large gap, looking after his tires and getting the fastest lap, it was a flawless performance from Bottas. I don't know what it was, whether it was the beard, the porridge, or just the hard work. Valtteri is back. While Mercedes were impressive, their pace was amplified by Ferrari's lack of it. I have no clue what happened to them, but the Italian team were off the pace for the entire weekend. They looked like the quickest team during testing, and yes, Mercedes were hiding their true pace, but this doesn't justify Vettel and Leclerc being almost a second off of Mercedes during qualifying. They ended up finishing a disappointing 4th and 5th during the race, even getting beaten by Red Bull's Max Verstappen. In Ferrari's defense, Melbourne has never been a good track for them, and it's only the first race of the season. However, if Ferrari aren't more competitive in Bahrain, then there is reason for major concern. Here are some impressive drivers from the race. Number 4 is Kevin Magnussen. He was the winner of the best of the rest battle, finishing an impressive 6th. Number 3, I have Lando Norris. It was an impressive rookie debut for the 19-year-old. He needs more performances like this to ease the pressure off. He qualified an impressive 8th, much to the surprise of his team. Sadly, he dropped a few places in the race, finishing 13th. He would have been higher if he hadn't got stuck behind Antonio Giovinazzi. This completely ruined his race. Number 2, I have Max Verstappen. Despite Red Bull's obvious lack of pace, Verstappen was able to beat both Ferraris in the race and finish an impressive 3rd, earning his 6th straight podium, the longest streak of his career. And surprisingly, in 1st, I have Valtteri Bottas. Like I said before, it was a faultless performance and he got redemption from last year. Hopefully this win motivates him and sets the tone for the season. Let's see if he can carry this form over to Bahrain. Here are some drivers that I think performed worse than expected. Pierre Gasly certainly had a weekend to forget. He was knocked out in the first part of qualifying, which meant he started down in 17th. The race wasn't much better. After a pit stop, he was passed by the Toro Rosso of Daniel Kvyat and spent the rest of the race behind the Toro Rosso. A very disappointing debut for the Renault driver. He'll have to do better than that to impress the team. Robert Kubica was even more disappointing. While Williams were expected to be slow, no one was expecting what we saw from them. Robert Kubica was 4 seconds slower than Hamilton in Q1, and just 1.5 seconds off his teammate George Russell. In the race, he got lapped 3 times by the leaders, and I don't remember seeing him at all. Not a great way to start his F1 comeback. The most impressive team of the race was Haas. They were the quickest midfield team for the whole weekend, surprisingly outpacing Renault. They would have had a strong double points finish, but the Australia pit stop curse came back to haunt Romain Grosjean yet again, forcing him to retire from the Australian Grand Prix for the 3rd straight year. On the bright side, Kevin Magnussen saved the day for Haas by finishing 6th, ahead of the likes of Nico Hülkenberg and Kimi Räikkönen. Although only one of their cars finished the race, Haas should be proud of what they achieved and try to build on this positive result. Now, the most disappointing team is way too obvious, and I already talked about them, so I'm going to skip them and talk about the second most disappointing team, Renault. They did get 7th with Hülkenberg, but I was expecting more from the team that said they could beat Red Bull. I mean, they didn't even make Q3. I think Ricciardo got a bit unlucky at the start, but he shouldn't have even been on the grass in the first place. But I saw this on Twitter and found it hilarious. The guy used wings as a reference to Red Bull, but the meaning of Ricciardo needs no wings got quite literal during the race. Williams were also very, very disappointing. Everyone knew they would be the slowest, but to be 4 seconds off the top teams in qualifying is unheard of. At this rate, they'll be getting lapped by a shopping cart by the end of the season. So overall, I would give the race a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the most exciting, but for sure it won't be the worst race of the season. But you also have to take into account that overtaking is quite difficult on this track. However, some positives were that the car seemed to be able to follow better as a result of the simpler aero. And I'm really happy for Valtteri Bottas. Hopefully he can continue this form and give Hamilton a run for his money. So guys, that's going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Kids love F1. I would really appreciate it. Please leave your Bahrain GP predictions in the comment section below, and they will most likely be featured in a future video. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.